Hey, what is up, boys and girls? It's your pal right here, your buddy Chum, the Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders, coming at you with a special edition of the RCWR show as it's that time once again. It's our Call That Match prediction episode as we're going to be tackling the sixth annual WWE TLC tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs pay-per-view that's going to be coming to us from Cleveland, Ohio at the Quicken Loans Arena. Are you guys ecstatic? I know, like, as we're doing this right now, we are like a couple of hours away from the NXT Takeover Our Revolution special. I'm going to be checking that out for sure. I want you guys to interact with me using the Twitter handle that will be on for that evening that the event's on at the RCWR show. Of course, you guys probably already knew that if you're a long-time follower of ours. Also, we are going to be hitting it up on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. I welcome those of you to check it out if you haven't done so already, as we're posting some really great tweets, messages, got some really fun stuff that's up on there. I want to give you guys a quick programming note before we dive into the talk of the TLC event. So we put this out on Monday. I want to just reiterate it again to you guys. We're going to try to see if maybe we could do this like once a month. I want to do a Q&A with you guys at least once a month, and next Monday is going to be that Q&A. It's going to be me and my broadcast partner Titus Machiavelli, and what you all can do is use the hashtag RCWR show. Make sure it's a really good question that me and Titus can spend a few minutes talking about. I've seen a couple that's come in so far. I like for it to continue to come in. So come up with a really good question, use that hashtag, and we'll address it on this Monday show. That's going to be on Monday, December 15th. We'll be coming on at 11:15 p.m. Eastern. All right. Hope you can come up with some really good questions. I've seen some good stuff come in from some of you guys so far. I appreciate it. I don't care if maybe you come up with two or three really good questions. As long as it's on point, I don't mind spending a few minutes on it. I thought it'd be something kind of cool to do for you guys because there's so many of you guys that check us out on a weekly basis, and a lot of you all have some really good questions, and sometimes, a lot of times, we don't get to you all's questions. So this is kind of a nice way to kind of maybe backtrack, see what you all are saying, and talk about it. All right. So let's go on ahead on that note. Let's talk about this TLC event that's going to be coming up. Bear in mind, I have not been paying attention to the dirt sheets, the websites. I mean, pretty much the way our Call That Match specials work. I just look at each match as it is on paper. I'll talk about it for a few minutes. I let you know, if I think it's going to be on point, if I was booking it, what type of angles we could possibly see going down, but most importantly, who's going to walk away victorious as we try to set up the next page that's going to be coming up. And in this case, it's going to be January's Royal Rumble 2015 event. All right. So, on that note, let's have at it. Let's have some fun. And of course, if you guys are having any type of problems with our live stream, we will have the audio version of this be available. Just make sure you're following us throughout social media as we'll put out the links. We'll also put up a link on here once it's available for on demand. All right. So, again, we got the sixth annual TLC event. And we have a pre show match, which sees the New Days, Big E, and Kofi Kingston taking on Goldust and Stardust. It's going to be a traditional tag team match. Why should I really care about this tag team match? Now, look, I'm not crapping on the match. I'm not crapping on the participants. But, you know, ever since New Day had made their debut, I really haven't been feeling it. You know, I mean, I see the vignettes and it worked up some emotions in me, some that kind of felt as though the way it was being pitched to me was borderline racist. Special shout out to one of our longtime followers, Zargon, who posted a really great rant about his experience in seeing the New Day stable. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, I'll make sure we put a link in the episode description for you guys. I think y'all will feel exactly where he's coming from and why he was so upset. I try to give this stable all the opportunities in the world the past couple of weeks, and I was expecting them to come out and cut some really good promos, somewhat kind of similar to what they were doing in the vignettes. And it seems like they've just been mainly quiet. They've just been going in, whooping ass. That's good. But I mean, is it just me, or is it kind of heartbreaking seeing them come out and they're hardly getting any type of a reaction? I mean, they're even trying to get people to chant New Day, and that's not really working. I wonder whose reaction from the WWE fans have been the worst so far. Has it been a New Day stable, or has it been Santino Morella? Those of you that have seen Santino pop up a few times now, he has gotten no pop from the crowd whatsoever. But I mean, despite all of that, the New Day stable, their in ring ability, it's there. The in ring ability was never a problem for them. Why should I care about this particular match? It just really feels so random. Do I feel it's going to be an entertaining match? Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be one of those matches we're going to be talking about once the night is over, though, honestly. I'd like to see some type of a weird stipulation get applied to this match. If it was me and I was booking this for the pre show, I would actually say the winning tag team will get to take on the winner of the Miz Dow versus the Usos match for the tag team championships. And maybe that tag team championship match could happen on Monday Night's Raw. If it was me, that's how I would kind of set it up a little bit. As far as who would go over between Big E, Kingston taking on Gold and Stardust, that's a tough call. That's a tough call. Because quite honestly, so far this New Day experiment doesn't really seem to be going off on a good note. I need to see that stable go heel already. I think that's like the saving grace for it right now. But I'm actually going to try to root them on. I want to see Big E and Kofi Kingston pick up a win, and maybe they can kind of build off of that. To have them feud against the Rhodes Brothers, I think it's very good. Rhodes Brothers have definitely established themselves as a very good tag team, and honestly, this new challenge and trying to do everything they can to put over the New Day, I think it's smart booking when it's all said and done. A little bit random that we have this tag match coming about, but it's smart booking when you really think about it. But I'd like to see Big E and Kofi Kingston pick up the win. Like I said, if I was booking this, I'd put a stipulation to this match: winner faces the team that comes out of the tag team championship match. Let's go to the actual card itself. Speaking of that tag team match, let's go ahead and let's talk about that one. So we got the Miz and Miz Dow taking on the Usos. Tag team match for the WWE tag titles. We've seen a little bit of friction go down for Naomi, and I always forget which Uso it is that is married to her, so forgive me, guys, but to be on the safe side, I'm just gonna say Naomi and one of the Uso brothers, okay, until I can really make that mental note of who she is married to. But we've seen a little bit of friction happen for the newlywed couple, as Miz has come in and basically said to her, look, you got great beauty. I think we could help you advance your career along. Here, give my people a call. So her head's kind of off in Hollywood land right now. She doesn't really think the Miz is doing any type of harm. He's just trying to look out for her and everything. And, we see that I want to say it's Jey Uso that's married to her. You guys got to forgive me. I'm like starting to battle a nasty chest cold here. I hope I can have this out of my system before the pay-per-view event comes on this weekend. Yeah, it's Jey Uso, if I'm not mistaken, that is married to Naomi. I'm actually looking at a picture right now. Yeah, I think it's Jey Uso. Let's say Jay. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, all right? But, we kind of see that little bit of friction that's going on with Jay and Naomi, as Jay feels he can see right through what the Miz is trying to do. And I actually, contrary to how my broadcast partner, Titus Machiavelli, may feel, as I think he made a Sable reference, and I don't think he was trying to put down Sable in any way. Sable definitely was a one of a kind diva. I actually was a big fan of hers growing up as a kid. I mean, how many of us weren't a fan of Sable from back in the 90s? I mean, especially when we were just discovering puberty and all that other crap. Of course, there were a lot of us that had really enjoyed Sable's work, not to mention Sonny's work. But for me, I actually like the direction that this is going. To kind of echo on what I said on Monday nights, the RCWR show live, it really kind of comes off as if we're seeing like old WCW angle almost with Diamond Dallas Page, Kimberly, Mark Merrow. It kind of has little hints of that type of a storyline, and I'm actually for this. I actually would like to continue to see where exactly this is going to go. And I think WWE has the greatest potential right here to, if they do this right, and I don't think a lot of shows are talking about this particular angle, but if they do this right, I could see a scenario playing out where Naomi would be the one that could benefit from this whole thing the most as the Usos continue to chase after Miz and Damian Sandow for the tag team championship. Reason being, all this success that Mizdow is having, then you think about the success that Naomi storyline wise is possibly going to have as a result of meeting with the business people. There's two different directions that it could go. One scenario could see maybe Naomi really opening up more to Miz. And as a result of that, there's friction between him and the Usos as they kind of feel as though he's just trying to position himself in a way where if he wins Naomi over, who knows? Maybe he's going to look for some type of sexual gratification, or maybe he's going to be like, hey, you owe me, or whatever. But I see some type of if WWE does this right, I see some type of a huge angle playing out in a way where Naomi would turn on the Usos, and I could see her getting mega heat as a result of it. Now, see, here's where it gets a little bit tricky, folks, and that's okay. Well, we've been watching Total Divas, so we know a majority of the stuff that's been going on with Naomi and Jay. That's where it gets a little tricky. WWE is going to have to clean that up in a way where it's believable that there is trouble in paradise for the married couple that could justify Naomi helping out Miz. I mean, there's a couple of different angles that they can go with this, but either way, Naomi for sure would benefit from it the most. So just marinate on that. Let me know what you guys think with regards to that. But with regards to that tag team match for the championship belts, come on, man. Miz and Damian Sandow, they're still pretty freaking popular right now, despite what some of you all may feel. I still think they're a very entertaining tag team. I still get the chuckles when I see Damian Sandow doing this thing. I got them for the retain when it's all said and done. Hook or by crook, they're going to retain. Let's talk about our next match, which sees Ryback taking on Kane. Chairs match. Ryback, Kane, chairs match. I was looking at this match earlier, and I was just looking at the two names, and I was just kind of thinking back to Ryback's first run. Remember that first run as Ryback? Just how much of a freaking destruction path he was on. I mean, it was a great path of destruction. I mean, he was just so damn white hot. And a lot of us were under the impression maybe he was going to follow in the footsteps of Sheamus almost and quickly become a WWE champion. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. As a result of it not working out, We saw the sudden rise and fall of Ryback. I'm looking at this particular match between him and Kane, and what really has me going right now is okay, you know what? I'm kind of getting the impression that this new run that Ryback is having is really about redemption. It's all about doing things right this second go round. I really believe in my heart of hearts, WWE, at least the key people in booking, I think they realized they messed up the first go round with Ryback, and they want to try to do things right this second go round. I know some of you guys are probably tired as hell of seeing the big red monster Kane involved in matches. For me personally, I feel where y'all are coming from. I get a little bit frustrated as well. Honestly, I'm fine for this match so long as we see the big guy go over Kane. That's the way I would book it because to me, I'm looking at this particular match and I'm saying to myself, well, who deserves to go over more? And for me, for Ryback to come out of that match, and I think he's going to have a very dominating performance in that chairs match. Mark my words on that. You know, I'm also looking at it from another standpoint, which is who could possibly make the argument that they should be the number one contender to take on Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship? Whether that be at the Royal Rumble pay per view or maybe at the next pay per view, who knows? I'm just thinking about the bragging rights. Ryback could definitely come out the night after TLC and make that argument. I'm also looking at it from another standpoint, and this one gets even bigger. You know, they could go in a direction where key people that were victorious from this TLC event, they get put into some type of a, I don't know, maybe a beat the clock challenge match or whatever, and they get like a premium Royal Rumble entry number. That could very well happen. And Ryback could be one of those guys. He could get number 25 or whatever. You know, so I'm looking at it from those standpoints. But in either case, I have Ryback getting up out of there with a victory. I see a very dominating performance, not in the way where when I say dominating, not like Brock Lesnar to John Cena, 16 suplexes, conquer, repeat, not in that type of fashion. But look for it to be a very physical, brawling type of match. Definitely going to be weapons at play. I could assure you guys of that. But look for Ryback to have a really dominating performance over Kane. Want to thank those of you that's checking us out right now. Hopefully, you guys have managed to stick around despite my coughing. It's pretty bad over here. Let's see if we can wrap this up quickly because I don't feel like I'm getting any better here. Let's talk about Rusev taking on Jack Swagger, United States Championship. Very interesting how Jack Swagger, who took on Rusev a couple of months back, manages to just slide right back into a program with Rusev. And, you know, here's the funny part. I don't really see a proper build up for this match. I like how the commentators have kind of like, and it's not solely on the commentators. Ultimately, it's about the way this whole thing is being booked. I like how we're not even bringing up the fact that Rusev has beaten Jack Swagger before. I guess we're supposed to forget that and just focus on this new match. Well, unfortunately, I still remember that. And for me, there needs to be some continuity going on here, you know? And I don't know. Look, I still have main event on the DVR, so maybe they did touch upon it. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I usually watch main event Thursday nights, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they address that. I'll give them Friday Night SmackDown. Maybe they'll address it on that episode as well. All right. But for them, acknowledge that. it just kind of you go, all right, well, I guess I'm supposed to pretend that whatever happened a couple months ago didn't happen. Okay, fine. It's still not enough. I'm afraid it's still not enough, and as a result of that, I just don't see any serious threat to Rusev and his United States Championship belt. I think the real question that we need to ask ourselves right now is, where is WWE going with Rusev as the United States champion? What is their end result? What is their big finale to this? Do they even know who's possibly going to take the United States Championship belt off of him? Because if they aren't really sure, then they need to get something going. I don't know. I'm looking into the crystal ball and I'm thinking about the future. I'm kind of saying to myself, is it possible that maybe an NXT guy could be the answer? Could it maybe Sami Zayn or Adrian Neville? Is maybe one of those two guys going to be the ones to come up the main roster and take that belt off of Rusev? Really makes you wonder, but Rusev for the retain. Luke Harper taking on Dolph Ziggler. These two guys have already met a couple of times on main WWE programming. I really hope that they can take things up to another level on this pay per view night, and I have a feeling that they will, especially Dolph Ziggler. I have a feeling that this is probably going to be one of two matches that people are going to be talking about the most. I think this is going to be a classic encounter right here. Whatever you guys had saw on main WWE programming, I think they're going to blow that out the water with what they're going to do. Luke Harper, the way he's been booked so far, I really don't see him cheating or some silly crap like that to win. Yet at the same time, it makes you curious, how exactly is Luke Harper going to get the one up over Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship? Good question. If it was me, I mean, I just keep thinking about what's been going on with Eric Rowan and him feuding with Harper. I could see some type of a situation. If it was me booking this, I would like to see Eric Rowan actually try to interfere in that match between Luke Harper and Dolph Ziggler. And maybe it could be a situation where Eric Rowan attacks Dolph Ziggler to basically screw. No. I said that wrong. I could see a scenario play out where Eric Rowan attacks Luke Harper, and as a result of that, Dolph Ziggler picks up a defeat by disqualification. And as you all know, at least the way WWE dubs it, the belt can't change hands on a disqualification. You could still have Dolph Ziggler come out looking pretty freaking strong as he does a zigzag to both of those guys. And then maybe this would set up Dolph Ziggler looking for a match against Eric Rowan on Monday's WWE Raw, of which maybe we see Luke Harper come out and he tries to attack Eric Rowan, and ultimately that could maybe set up some type of a tag match involving Dolph Ziggler, and I'll figure it out before the end of this show. But I'm just looking at different combinations they could do right there. Because what I reiterated Monday night is, why should I care about Eric Rowan taking on Luke Harper, right? I mean, we know they were in the Wyatt family, but what exactly is having both of these guys feud with one another? I keep hearing they used to be brothers. Okay, well, that's fine. Well, what made these brothers turn on each other? We need to see that be addressed. But that's how I would actually book that Luke Harper versus Dolph Ziggler match. I don't see Harper losing the Intercontinental Championship belt. Meanwhile, we have Eric Rowan taking on Big Show. Not really much here in this match. It's a steel stairs match. Eric Rowan doesn't like bullies, and as far as he's concerned, Big Show is a bully. This is another match that kind of has me scratch my head and go, why should I care about this particular match as well? I really tried to look into this match here. Too close to call for me. I'm trying to remove my personal feelings about this match, and I've seen some of Eric Rowan's older stuff as far as matches go before he joined the WWE. He's entertaining as hell. If you guys didn't get a chance to check out some of his older work, go do so when you all get a chance. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this match could end up being somewhat similar to the Ryback versus Kane match, quite honestly. And maybe Eric Rowan would be the one that goes over because it really seems like WWE is trying to build him up as a really good baby face. So yeah, I mean, I can see Eric Rowan coming away with a W, but then you can't help but wonder, based off the way I set it up, if I had Eric Rowan interfere at Luke Harper's match, well, shouldn't that mean that Eric Rowan, his match gets interfered by Luke Harper, which could maybe prompt Dolph Ziggler to come out, try to help out Eric Rowan. Ultimately, that's what would set up your tag match, which is Ziggler teaming up with Rowan to take on Big Show Luke Harper. Makes you wonder. But I'd like to see Eric Rowan pick up the win on that one. We got a couple more matches left. Let's see what we got here. We got two. Let's tackle Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. Tables, ladders, and chairs match. This is probably going to be the match that's going to send a lot of people walking away very happy. Tricky match right here. You're looking at Dean Ambrose. You're thinking about the victory that he got over Bray Wyatt at the last pay per view. Bray Wyatt, in all honesty, he needs this victory as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he got destroyed, isn't even the right word for last month's pay per view. But that's like exactly what happened to him. I mean, he got butchered. Everything in the kitchen sink was thrown at him at these pay per view. In his first encounter with Dean Ambrose, that it had you be shocked as hell when you heard on that same pay per view that these two guys were going to be fighting each other in a TLC match. You're like, well, what the hell is the proper build up for this? I mean, even Vince Russo, formerly one of WWE's head writers, even he was scratching his head saying, well, what the hell was up with the booking for this? Bray Wyatt has to get the win over Dean Ambrose. WWE has this plan where they want for Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt to continue feuding with one another for maybe one or two more pay-per-views. You gotta have Bray Wyatt go over Dean Ambrose. You just have to. Otherwise, it's like if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna have Dean Ambrose go over Bray Wyatt again, then you need to separate the two. Bray Wyatt needs to feud with somebody else. Dean Ambrose needs to feud with somebody else. Who does Dean Ambrose need to go feud with? Personally, if it was me, I would actually have him feud with Cesaro. I think those two would give us a classic rivalry, and I think working with Cesaro would be good for Cesaro. I think he could get a nice good rub from the guy. Talk about another key ingredient Cesaro could maybe take in working with Ambrose to help make him the complete package, to kind of echo on what Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin were saying about Cesaro on that podcast a couple of weeks back. Bray Wyatt, who could he work with? Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing him work with Dolph Ziggler. Wishful thinking right there. Or maybe he works with Ryback. I'm just trying to figure out how we can be done seeing Kane always match you guys, but that's the route I would go. But Bray Wyatt has to get a W over Dean Ambrose. I think that's a no-brainer. Yeah. John Cena, Seth Rollins, tables match. Cena loses, he will no longer be the number one contender for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Let's come back to that one. Nikki Bella versus AJ Lee, Divas Championship. A lot of rumors continue to be speculated that AJ Lee's acceptance speech for Diva of the Year on Monday Night Raw was pretty much considered a farewell type of speech, as rumors are surfacing that she is going to be done with the WWE after the TLC pay per view. I don't know how accurate that is, boys and girls. I know that there's probably some of you guys that would like for me to comment on that. And honestly, I think what would be a telling story in itself would be to see what happens after TLC on the next 2 to 3 episodes of Monday Night Raw. I always tell you guys, take the rumors, take everything you hear with a grain of salt until they come straight from the horse's mouth otherwise. So, bearing that in mind, I'm just looking at this particular match. I don't really see any strong indication that AJ Lee would get the Divas Championship belt back. I just don't. I see Nikki Bella for the retain, but my whole thing is when I look at this match, where does Brie fit into all this? I'm still reminded of a match that, or rivalry rather, that Nikki and Brie had, which culminated in, hey, whoever loses becomes the other person's servant for 30 days. That didn't really seem to go anywhere. And then in the last final days or the last week, we saw Brie try to be a team player and help out Nikki more and more. To follow up on what I said a couple of weeks ago, does Brie have a ulterior motive, which is basically to end up feuding with her sister for that Divas Championship belt so she can rub it in her face 2 times more of all the cruel things that she had to do for Nikki as a servant and all this other stuff? It's like now they're on the same page. It's like, what the hell? That's really what I'm wondering right now. And with no indication of another number one contender's Diva stepping up to the plate to face the winner of this Nikki Bella AJ match, I'm thinking about what's next after this TLC match. And for me, I'm just trying to figure out what will be the next program for Nikki, because I don't really think this thing with AJ Lee, I don't really think it's going anywhere. Would I like to see it go somewhere based off the promo work I saw the two girls give? Yeah, I'd love to see it go somewhere, but I just have this weird sick feeling that it's not going to go anywhere. Nikki Bella for the retain. John Cena versus Seth Rollins. We teased that earlier. You don't have to be a scientist rather, or have a degree in rocket science to know that for this particular match, Randy Orton. Come on now. Randy Orton. I got him appearing in this match. I got him helping out John Cena. All those little Vide videos that's floating around of Randy Orton doing the RKO out of nowhere and all that. I got Randy Orton making his presence felt. Remember the last time we saw Randy Orton was sometime in early November, and he had got one devastating curb stomp from Seth Rollins after Orton had turned on the Authority, officially making him a babyface. Just thinking about that, you can't help but wonder if WWE is going to try to take a page out of what went down that the Survivor Series main event with Sting and try to see if they could duplicate that same magic with Randy Orton. And honestly, if that's what they want to try to do, I commend them. I commend them. I think it'd be a cool move if they try to do that, because their mentality is probably going to be, well, it worked for this pay per view. Why not try it again? And honestly, I think this is a case right here, a unique case where you give the fans what they want. Fans want to see Randy Orton come back. Honestly, I think it'd be a smart move. The timing would be right because remember, we got the Royal Rumble coming up. And of course, you all know Randy Orton has been out because he was filming The Condemned too. So, last we heard, he's actually been done filming that movie for a couple of weeks now. It's just been about WWE Creative trying to figure out where exactly they can bring him back. And I think that would be a great opportunity, would be for him to come back in that TLC main event match. If it was me personally, I would love to see John Cena lose, which would then bring up a new question. Well, who the hell becomes the number one contender to take over Brock Lesnar for the championship? If it was me, that's how I would book it, because fans, they have been craving for change and new direction for the longest period of time. And I know that there are a lot of fans out there that are sick and tired of seeing John Cena constantly get the main event spot. You know, to kind of follow up on what some wrestlers had said, CM Punk being one of those people, Vince McMahon's mentality is, what's next for Cena? What do we have next for Cena? Because Cena is priority number one. And maybe he should be, because he is the face of the company. He is their cash cow. I have no problem with that. At the same time, however, I'm looking at this situation here where if John Cena loses, he's no longer the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think it's kind of funny how this stipulation gets put on Cena for this particular match, yet it did not go down at Survivor Series. Just things that make you go, when you think about it, when you really, really think about it. Honestly, I'd love to see John Cena get screwed out of that number one contender spot. I really would. But even if you were to try to screw John Cena out of it, you would still, well, it's still a tricky slope, because if you screw him out of the championship, you think about the way I was trying to set up WWE Raw the next night, those premium spots for the Royal Rumble. Well, then what happens for the number one contender? Who ends up becoming the new number one contender to take on John Cena? Folks, whether you like it or not, in either case, we're going to see John Cena, Brock Lesnar again. I'd love to get you guys' comments on that one. I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably like moaning and groaning, but look for Randy Orton to come back in that match, help out John Cena, try to extract a little bit of revenge for that curb stomp Seth Rollins did to him several weeks back. Those guys pick back up where they left off in their respective feud. All right. So let's recap one more time for our pre-show. I've got Big E, Kofi going over. Divas Championship, Nikki Bella retains over AJ Lee. For the United States Championship, I got Rusev over Jack Swagger. Intercontinental Championship, Luke Harper for the retain. Steel Chairs match, I got Big Show losing to Eric Rowan. Not United States. The Tag Team Championship, I've got Mizdow defeating the Usos for the retain. Meanwhile, Ryback goes over Kane. Bray Wyatt goes over Dean Ambrose, and in your main event, John Cena goes over Seth Rollins with help from an RKO. Let's check out some of you guys' comments here and see what you all are saying. I see a couple of comments coming in. Let's see what we got here. Heaven Shotgun. I think Cena should lose at TLC to give someone else fresh and a new title shot. I do not want to see Cena and Brock. I respect that. Trust me, you are not getting any arguments from me, my friend. Whether or not that happens is a different story. That gamer is TLC's a must see show, or should I miss this show and won't miss anything show? That's a good question, gamer. I wish I had a definitive answer for that. I mean, on paper, you look at the matches and I don't know, to me, it just kind of feels, but I'm going to watch it, because that's just how dedicated I am. So if you end up not watching it, that's good. That should make you want to come check out our WWE TLC post show this Sunday. Will be coming on at 10:50 p.m. Eastern, or immediately after the event concludes. We'll cover full fallout and review, include you all's interactions from you all that had saw the pay per view, of course. Forgive me if I don't have that much energy for this show. I'm like really, really tackling a nasty chest cold here. And let's see what else. Hey, I see we got a question for Monday's show. Remember, once again, we're going to be doing a Q&A episode this Monday night. Yeah, if I have a really good question you'd like for us to address, use the hashtag RCWR show so we know that we need to forward it to that Monday show. I just want it to be a majority show of really good questions. So make sure you post those questions down below. And I think that's going to do it. All right. So, we got the NXT TakeOver special that's coming on later tonight, which is December the 11th, Thursday night. Depending on how I feel throughout the course of the night, will determine whether or not I'm going to end up coming back on YouTube here to talk about the event. If I do talk about the event, I may not go in depth about it like I just did here. I may only talk about it for 10, maybe 15 minutes tops, because I really don't want to be continuing to cough and all that stuff on you guys. All right. Um, Glad you all aren't getting my germs, by the way. But yeah, so follow us on Twitter. I'll definitely be tweeting with you guys as the NXT special is on. You Ring of Honor fans, you all are in for a treat as Kevin Steen, who's now coming into the WWE as Kevin Owens, will be making his debut. And I can't stress this enough. Anybody out there that does not know about Kevin Steen, aka Kevin Owens, go out of your way to find his video package. It's like about 60 seconds. Everything you need to know brilliantly is put into that video package that makes you go, damn, I need to see what this guy is about then if it's like that. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. All right. And in the meantime, that's going to do it. If it's your first time checking us out, I'd love to have you subscribe to us so you never miss out on all the great content we do for you here on a weekly basis. We do a little bit of everything, whether it comes to breaking reviews, or breaking news, doing some really fun and insightful reviews, interviews. I mean, we're more than just WWE talk. That's the beautiful thing about us. I mean, we do a little bit of everything. We just happen to be a show that talks about WWE, but we have our hands dipped into a little bit of everything. So hit that subscribe button. See why we have over 9,000 subscribers with over 5 million views and counting. All that is legit. Interact with us on our Twitter page. I do my best to make sure on our Twitter page we interact with nothing but real people. If you don't have anything else better to do and you want to just look at all the people that's following us, I mean, there's at least 90 to 95% of real people that actually interact with us on a daily basis. Same thing for our Facebook page as well. So check all that good stuff out when you all get a chance. And in the meantime, make sure you give this a thumbs up. You can share it a number of ways. Facebook it, Google Plus it, retweet it. As always, this is one of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content. We have some episodes you can check out on the downloads, as we're on iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn. We're everywhere, man. Blog Talk. Everything you need is this episode description. So in the meantime, until next go round, we wish you nothing but to be safe and be kind to one another. We'll see you in a little bit, hopefully, for that NXT TakeOver review. Adios.